G'day my fellow media collectors and welcome to the Comic Book Movie Collector's Guide, your show about collecting all things superhero cinema. I'm your host Troy and today we are going to review Gundala on DVD and we're going to have a look and see, should you add this to your collection? What do you say we get into it?
The Hall of Justice, the Super Friends
are reviewing Gundala, a live-action superhero movie with a runtime of 123 minutes. The film was released in the theatres on the 29th of August 2019 in Indonesia and on the 11th of September 2019 at the Toronto International Film Festival. It was later released on the 28th of July 2020 on DVD and Blu-ray with no 4K HD release as of this video. It was written and directed by Joko Anwar. The film was produced by Screenplay Films, Bumilangit Studios, Legacy Pictures and Ideosource Entertainment, with it distributed by Screenplay Films. A sequel called Gundala, the Son of Lightning is planned as a part of the first volume of films in the Bumilangit Cinematic Universe. Okay, let's have a look at the cover and I've got to admit, this is what got me interested. Look at that. That looks incredible. He looks awesome there, at least in my personal opinion. He looks great with the whole thing. The look of that cover got me excited. I'm like, wow, I've got to check this out. I've got to see this. And that was the only reasoning, because the cover sold me on it. It looks really good. Now, if we look at the side, it's not too bad. I wouldn't say that it stands out or blends in. It's not too bad at all. On the back, there are a lot of the promo shots I've noticed online. Yeah, not a great deal of like film shots, but just more promo stuff. And it's pretty much similar in line with everything. Now, if we look at the disc, yay, it's color, but it's just a screenshot, nothing different, which is cool. And you'll notice the white DVD case. This is the UK release that I end up getting. Look, overall, it's not too bad. It's a little run-of-the-mill on the back, but the front cover, like I said, that really got me interested. So I could imagine that if you were in a video store, you know, scrolling through looking for the DVDs and you saw that, you'd be like, oh, I don't really need to see that, because that's what happened for me. I saw it and went, damn, I'm gonna have to watch that movie. And that's what you want, of course. Overall, not too bad. So for this one, I'm probably going to give this a 7 out of 10. So this movie introduces us to Sankaka, who has lived on the streets since his parents left him when he was a young child. Living a hard life, Sankaka survives through thinking about his own safety, but one day he gets attacked by a local gang, only to discover he has superpowers. With the condition of the city getting worse around him and injustice raging throughout the country, Sankaka must decide whether he continues to live to kind of look out for himself, or should he use his powers to rise up and become the hero for the oppressed.
Okay, Terry, time to be the hero.
Okay, this story is pretty much just a 2-hour-long origin story that really should have been 10 minutes long. Like, it, you know, get it down a little bit and then have the adventures of Gundala for the rest of the movie. Because it really drags out on Sankaka's life story and his motivations behind becoming a hero. Probably a lot longer than it should have.
Really dragging this out.
Now, even though the movie was packed with action, it really spent a lot of the time dwelling on the drama side of things, which it didn't do that well and kind of felt a little flat for me. The plot, which was, look, definitely original by all stretches, was a bit hokey and cheesy at times. To me, it felt like the movie was, look, it was trying to be more clever than it actually came off as.
Actually, you're not that smart.
Look, though the plot was a bit cheesy with our main villain of the movie poisoning the country's rice supply to only affect pregnant women and deform the future generation of children, yeah, like I said, a bit out there. I did find the villain himself compelling enough, with him being deformed himself in a fire and being put in an orphanage, and how he kind of goes about overcoming his disabilities to rise up to become this evil mobster who owns the politicians and pretty much runs the city.
He owns this whole stinking town.
Though his plan was a bit, what's the word, convoluted and misguided, and a little over the top for my liking. You kind of did understand his motivations. I was going to say I was a bit 50-50 on this one, but then there's probably a little more bad than there is good in this story. And in the script department, overall, still an interesting movie to watch, but it does try a little hard at times, and it really comes up short. So look, for me, I'm probably going to give this 13 out of 30. Now, this story is not based off a comic book story as such, but it is based off the comic book of the same name, Gundala, which is published by Bumilangit, I hope I got that right, an Indonesian comic book publisher. Now, I can't say I'm overly familiar with this character, but from a little bit of research I've done, he is pretty faithful to the comics in this movie. His costume looks great, actually. He's got more of an updated version, not so much as like his original comic version, which look at that, it's not great. But then he starts out with his like homemade version of his costume, and I got to say, I probably liked it more than it is an end credit scene where he has like this U-boot sort of metal armored sort of suit that he has that the government pays for somehow. And sure, it looks flash, but I actually preferred his original homemade getup, actually.
I'm fine with my old outfit.
Okay, the cinematography in this film is not bad at all, actually. It looks great, especially the fight scenes. And this is where this movie really shines, is in its fight scenes. And they are really well choreographed, and they're visually great to watch. They look very visceral and very, they get into it. Though it was lacking in the special effects department, but that definitely comes down to the fact that this movie's budget was, get this, only $2 million. But look, I still feel like they did a pretty good job considering they had such a small budget.
I'm not gonna lie, it's a low-budget movie, but the script is solid.
So look, I'll have the cast list up here, and look, unless you're a fan of Indonesian films, you probably won't know who any of these people are, like I am. I've got no idea. But look, I felt the majority of them did a really good job, actually. I watched the dubs, so it was a little off with the voices, but still, their acting was really good. Look, our hero of the movie, I'm not going to butcher his name. I'll just have it across here. He did a really good job on screen. As Gundala and as Sankaka, he was able to do a real good emotional range, but then managed to do the fight scenes as well with no drama whatsoever. So look, this is probably where the strength of this movie is. Where it really shines is in its cinematography, its actors, and its adaptation. This is where it really shines, and that's why I'm going to give this a score of 17 out of 20. So, special features. Look, the DVD version doesn't have any special features. It just has some random trailers by one of the film studios, which was Robot Riot, Yeti, Shark Attack, Winter War, and The Great Alaskan Race. All a bunch of very low-grade, B-grade movies. Nothing exciting there to watch. But if you do get the Blu-ray, you do get a couple of special features, which include production vlogs, behind the scenes, international trailer, and US trailer. So look, if you're looking for that little extra, I'd go for the Blu-ray. Otherwise, the DVD is going to be fine. And as I say, as I'm reviewing the DVD, and it's only got those crappy trailers, look, I don't even know why I'm going to give it this, but I'm going to give it a score of 1 out of 10. Now, the critic score came in at wow, 75%, and the audience score was 76%. Wow, not a bad go there. Very level there with the critics and audience. And look, there really does seem to be a little bit of love out there for this movie, especially from the fans of the comic in Indonesia. As the movie did make a profit too, which I was quite surprised with. I think they doubled their money. They made about 4 million. So overall, it looks like there could be a sequel to this because of the kind of response it got. So yeah, he's hoping. I think I would like to see a sequel. But yeah, the fans seem to love it, and the critics didn't seem to mind it either. So if we round it up, we are going to get a score of 8 out of 10. Look, I found this movie pretty enjoyable to watch with the great fight scenes and action. It definitely has me interested in the possible sequel. But this movie was, look, it was far from perfect. It does have some issues. Look, it's mostly with the pacing, the editing, and the story, which the story kind of leans heavily into this real social commentary on government and how the population should really rise up against them and take back power from the corrupt officials. Well, look, which is fine. That's a great story angle, but it really bangs on about it, like constantly through the movie, almost every chance it gets. And at the end of the day, for me, it really come off a real bit preachy, if you know what I mean.
It's a little preachy.
Like I said before, the main plot of this story was trying to be smarter than it actually came off on screen. And it felt, look, and I felt that they kind of stretched out his childhood story and his motivations way too long. It really dragged out the whole first part of the movie. It was really slow. And another thing they did too that I found was weird is they spent all this time setting up these orphan assassins, only really to throw them away in the final fight scene and just really waste them. It was, I just didn't get it. I think there are a couple of things that you could do to fix this movie, and that would be to get his childhood motivations and montage. You could get it down to 5 minutes. Just a little spiel telling someone about it. And spend more time on him being an adult to learn to be this superhero, and then in the final act he fights his way through a variety of these orphan assassins, each with their own challenges, and then he gets to the big boss. Boom, and there you have it. Great movie.
Why didn't I think of that?
Well, that's just my take on it. Anyway, look, if you really take out the poorly done drama, throw in more of the action and him being a superhero, that's where I think this movie would exceed. But anyway, look, that's just my opinion. So look, it's definitely worth watching, but it does need some tweaking here and there. So for that, oh God, what will I give it? Look, I think I'm going to give it 13 out of 20. So first up is collectability, and if we look on the collector scale, I would say this would be more for your, like more of your comic book geeking up. It's not really for everyone, but it's more for your more hardcore superhero fans or martial art fans, that's for sure. Now for availability, this one, look, I'll probably put this more on the common side of things, as I'm not sure if you can still get it in your usual brick and mortar retail outlets, but you will have a no trouble picking it up on Blu-ray or DVD at your online retailers or even on your second-hand markets like eBay. As far as your average price goes, you're looking at somewhere between the $9 to $25 mark on a DVD, and if you're looking for Blu-ray, you're probably looking at somewhere around the $11 to $42 mark. And of course, there is nothing for 4K HD as of this video. Now, the final score. We get a grand total of 59 out of 100. Well, that's not too bad a score for this movie. Like I said, there was a lot of potential there, but it does have its problems, unfortunately. So look, we asked the question, should you add this to your collection? Yeah, well, look, it kind of depends how much of a martial arts fan you are or how much of a superhero fan you are. If you're neither, look, I'd probably give this a miss. But look, if you're a mix of both, then this is probably a movie for you.
Best kung fu movie ever.
Hey, so if you like this video and you want to see some more of my reviews, why don't you click that one there? Or maybe you want to see some of my collection updates. got you covered too. Why don't you click that one there? And of course, don't forget to do the most important thing. Throw me a bat like, and don't forget to hit that subscription button on the way out. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.